Over the last decade, the character at the very heart of Lana Del Rey's music has been on a truly remarkable journey. She started out as this tragic muse, right? The classic sad girl, who seemed totally fine with this kind of glamorous doom. But here's the thing, she didn't stay there, not even close. So today, we're going to trace that lyrical evolution. We're going to follow the arc from a passive object of affection to the powerful creator of her very own story. So, where do you even start with a story like this? Well, it has to begin right here, with this one single, pretty shocking line from the song Ultraviolence. It just perfectly encapsulates the starting point of her whole persona. It's a world where love and pain aren't just connected, they're pretty much indistinguishable. This sets a very specific and, let's be honest, a very dark stage for everything that follows. Okay, so let's talk about that dark stage. It's really defined by one core idea, what we're going to call a fatalistic romance. And trust me, this isn't just a theme for a few sad songs. No, it's a complete worldview. It's a whole lyrical identity that she would build up, and then, this is the fascinating part, dismantle over the course of her career. So, what exactly do we mean by fatalistic romance? Well, think of it like this. It's a belief system where love is just destined for tragedy. It's not even just a possibility, it's the expectation. And what's more, there's a certain glamour to be found in all that destruction, a kind of twisted beauty in the inevitable heartbreak. This idea of finding glamour in the damage, it is the absolute cornerstone of her early work. So let's actually dig into it. Let's see how she so meticulously crafted this persona, lyric by lyric, across her first big albums. Yeah, we're really going to focus on the worlds she created in Born to Die and Ultraviolence. These two albums, they're the foundation. They're the ones that establish all the rules of this fatalistic universe and introduce us to the characters who are stuck living inside it. Okay, and these four themes you see here, they're basically the pillars holding that entire universe up. You've got the toxic love and masochism, of course, a real cynicism about fame and ambition, but really, at the center of it all is this unfixable man archetype, this super magnetic but totally destructive guy. And every single one of these pillars supports that core idea that pain itself can be an aesthetic. This line from National Anthem is so revealing. Why? Because it directly links love to status. All of a sudden, love, power, and money, they're all part of the same transaction. It's not just about romance. It's about ambition. It's about using relationships to get validation in this world that's just obsessed with luxury. And this line, wow, it just perfectly illustrates that whole idea of pain as an aesthetic. This is from Pretty When You Cry, and honestly, it's the ultimate summary of her early persona. Sadness isn't something to overcome, it's a performance. It's a source of this twisted beauty that, in her world, makes her desirable. It is the complete romanticization of her own suffering. But, after immersing herself so completely in that world, something starts to shift. A little crack starts to appear in that fatalistic foundation. And this is the crucial turning point. This is where the narrator stops just accepting her fate and actually starts to question it, where she starts choosing an entirely new path. And this pivot, it happens right here, across Lust for Life and the absolutely incredible Norman fucking Rockwell. These are the albums where you can hear the narrator starting to look for an exit. She's actively rejecting the very doom she once seemed to embrace. You can see the entire shift in this one comparison alone. It's amazing. On the left, from her debut, you have the ultimate statement of fatalism. You and I, we were born to die. Right? Destiny is unavoidable. But then on the right, years later, it's a conscious choice. I want to move into the blue. The focus is no longer on fate, but on will. It is an active, conscious decision to survive. And naturally, as her perspective changes, so do the men she sings about. The dangerous, tragic, unfixable man from her early albums, he gets replaced by a totally new figure, the man-child. And this guy's not some fearsome cult leader. He's a pathetic, self-involved artist whose flaws are no longer romanticized. Instead, they're sharply critiqued. And there he is. This is the album's opening line, and it is just a direct hit. There is zero glamour here, just pure exasperation. She's no longer a victim of his powerful darkness. She's just an observer of his immature weakness. And let me tell you, she is completely unimpressed. And this part is so crucial. She begins to define herself outside of these men. This powerful line from Mariner's apartment complex is a direct rejection of that fragile victim role she used to play. A candle in the wind, it's passive, it's easily extinguished. She's declaring that she is something else entirely. She's resilient and she's self-defined. So, okay, she's rejected the old patterns. The question is, where does she find this new strength? Well, the final act of her lyrical story reveals this really profound shift in focus, away from destructive romance and towards an entirely different kind of support system. And this evolution really culminates in her later work, especially on Chemtrails Over the Country Club and Blue Banisters. These albums are way less about that grand, tragic romance and much more about just grounding herself. It's a move from the cinematic to the domestic. She's finding psychological stability and quietly rebuilding her world on her own terms, with new people right at the center of it. And here's what's so interesting. This shift isn't just a feeling. You can almost see it in the data. The lyrical focus literally moves away from male lovers as essential figures and turns toward female friends and family. I mean, just think about that change for a second. The source of power, of healing, and the thing driving the story is no longer a man, but a community of women. And this is the lyric that just brings that whole idea to life. It's such a simple, domestic image, right? It's a world away from the violent, fast-living fantasies of her early work. She's not waiting for a man to fix her life. Her sisters are there, helping her rebuild her home, literally painting over the past. It's such a powerful act of communal healing and self-reliance. And this line, right here, this is basically the thesis statement for her entire evolution. The role of the passive muse, the beautiful object in someone else's art, the very role she embodied in her early work, is now explicitly identified as a trap. She finally realizes that she has to stop being the muse to finally become the creator. And what's really amazing is that we can track this entire journey, from pain to power, from muse to creator, just by following the transformation of a single recurring symbol that pops up across her whole discography. Let's trace the journey of the color blue. It's incredible. So at first, it's just a symbol of sadness and pain, something that's inflicted on her. Then it becomes the goal of her transition, the blue sky she's trying to reach. And finally, blue is no longer a feeling she suffers, but a raw material she can actually use. It's the pain itself that she can now turn into something beautiful. And that's it. That's how the arc completes. The character who began as this passive object, totally consumed by a fatalistic world, has become the conscious architect of her own life, her own self-sustained grace. She's no longer just surviving the damage, she is building something new from it. Which, of course, leaves us with a final question. Her journey shows us the path from being the subject of art to becoming the artist herself. But as she learns to turn her own pain into something beautiful for the world, we really have to ask, what is the true cost of that transformation?